Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you, 'cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
Hi, and welcome to Diversity in the Community. I am your host, Teresa Harris. I am beyond excited for having this young woman on my program tonight. Her name is Riki Stevens. Is it Stevens or Steven? Stevens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The first time I saw her or experienced her, I would say, was at the Bushnell when we were at the 100 Women of Color, and she sang, and I was like blown away. And the second time that I saw her, I was at a women's retreat, and she just blessed the women there with her guitar and her singing, and she just took us to another level. So I am so excited and pleased to have her. And I'm going to introduce her and have her to just tell us a little something about herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. This is really exciting. So a little bit about myself. I am born and raised in Norwalk, Connecticut. That's where, I got into music. I got into music in church. And that was my first and greatest, I would say, exposure to music, because I'm listening to old Southern gospel music, hymns and choirs, and learning how to harmonize and learning how to run and sing all these high notes, and just doing all this stuff that people pay thousands of dollars, to learn from a vocal instructor. I was learning in church and I had no idea, and so that was my first introduction to music. And right now, I guess, music has always been a place for me that I go to find some peace and some grounding and sense of safety emotionally, and it really does uplift me spiritually as well, which I love it. And when we had first got on the call or the Zoom, you had asked me, you were surprised that I was shy, so it had actually took me a couple of years to start to sing it out for people and have some, sense of confidence. But, all that hard work and all those years have definitely have been worth it. So I'm just discovering myself as an artist and discovering my music as artistry, but also as ministry. And that's just kind of where I am right now. So, yeah.
How old were you when you realized that, wow, I can sing? I really know how to sing.
That's a good question. Wow. I want to. It's hard because it's so blurry in my mind. But I think I probably was in my teens, maybe. like maybe like 13 or 14 when I started to realize maybe I'm kind of good at this. But it was also kind of, it was so, I was so distracted though, because I was also like just, like doing so much work mentally to get myself to do it. But then when I would do it, I would always, see very interesting responses from people. And I thought maybe I'm kind of good at this, even though I'm very shy.
You're great at it. You're great at it.
Thank you.
How old were you when you started playing the guitar?
I was 19. No, probably. Yeah, like either 19 or 20. Yep.
Well, you
in
look like
college.
19 or 20 now.
20 now.
Oh my God!
My age. No, I'm in my 20s. I'm in my 20s. Yeah, but in college is when I started learning how to play guitar. And everybody around me. I went to Nyack College, and it's a Bible college. If you're not familiar with it, and there's a lot of they would do a lot of contemporary worship music, which is where I became exposed to that. I wasn't aware of that at all. And it's very guitar heavy. So I felt like everybody, all the musicians and all the people around me, wanted to be a worship leader and wanted to play guitar and wanted that like kind of image, So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try to play guitar. And I was inspired during that time. I was inspired by Corinne Bailey Rae, who is an amazing singer, songwriter, and guitarist. And I just saw her playing on YouTube one day, just came across her, and it was just her, just very simple, just her and her guitar, just singing. And she has a very beautiful, like soulful, sultry voice. And I was like, you know what? I think I can, I want to do that. I want to do that. Whatever she's doing right now, I want to do that. And so I started learning guitar, and it was really exciting. And yeah, it was just really, really, I don't know. It was just very adventurous for me at that time. Yeah, it was very exciting.
I tried to learn guitar, and my instructor said I did really well, but it just would never fit right. It would just
when you hold it.
Yeah, it just
was.
Really? I'm not going to say the reason why I didn't think it fit right, but it just wouldn't go across here
now
right.
I'm curious.
So I ended up a couple years ago. I went and played learned the ukulele, which is really easy. And I said, okay, now this fits really nice. So.
I love the ukulele. Boy. That's nice. Oh yeah, I love
that. Now tell me about. You went to you thought you were going through an art show or something one night, and what happened?
Oh yeah.
That's a wonderful story.
Yeah. So I just moved back home from New York. I was living out in New York, and just kind of exploring myself as an artist and busking and going to every open mic and just kind of like exploring, trying to figure out, is this music thing like really for me? And I had a setback, and I ended up coming back home, and I was feeling really discouraged actually around that time. And to pick myself up, I started Googling and trying to figure out, okay, what's going on like at home? Is there music going on? Is there anything going on? Like, I just want to kind of get out of the house and, make myself feel better. And I came across this Friday, I think it's called First Fridays or something like that out here. And I really like art. I really love to go to art shows and museums and things like that. So I saw that there are multiple options for this First Friday, but for whatever reason, I just saw art show, and I was like, I'm going to go to this art show. And I brought my sister with me, and I was like, this will be, really pick me up and put me in a good mood. Cause I was just, I had just really felt like I had took a few steps back from reaching my goals. And I just was looking for some sort of, artists always can be very uplifting. So I figure out the address or whatever. And I'm thinking I'm, going to this art show. And then my sister and I are like walking into this theater, and I'm looking like, oh, the art show's in a theater. This is really cool. So we get to the door, and they're like, oh, it's like a $15 entry. And I'm like, wow, like okay, like it didn't say anything about, paying to get into the art show on the flyer, but all right, fine. And the crazy thing is a lady behind, like 3 people behind my sister and I was like, oh, I got an extra ticket. If you guys want this free ticket, like, here you go, like, just take it. And we're like, all right, cool. So we only had to pay, for that one entry, and that was good. So we got in and walking around and, looking at all these people sitting down, getting ready to watch a show. And we're like, wait, this is not an art show. This is, what is happening? Like, why are we in this theater? But we kept going. We were so curious to see like what's going on. And it turned out to be Connecticut's Got Talent show competition. And it was in like the second round of auditions. And these people, they were all different ages, were amazing. It's very similar to America's Got Talent. So I'm sitting in the chair with my sister. I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening? I did not expect this at all, but it was really amazing. And it ignited, like a fire in me. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to audition for this. I'm going to do it. And I went home, and the next day I just submitted this little video of me playing my guitar, and I got in, and it was a amazing experience for many reasons, because I ended up winning the competition, which I was not expecting. I just wanted to do something to pick myself up, and I played my original music, which I had not done in that particular type of way. I was still like getting comfortable with my own music at the time. So I played my 2 original songs. And one of, besides winning it, which was an amazing experience, I met a really awesome person. His name is Billy Blanks Jr. And he has just been an amazing mentor and motivator in my life when it comes to my goals and my dreams. And he has become that voice of, okay, like, if, like, you have to do this. Like, he has extensive background in Broadway. He has his own fitness celebrity company. His dad is the guy who created Tybo. I don't know if you remember the workout.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So that's his dad.
I remember.
He did. Yeah. Did you ever do it?
Yeah, I had the video. I used to work out for the video. Yeah.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, that's his dad. So he kind of like, went in his dad's footsteps, and he has his own fitness celebrity, company or business. And he's very talented, very well connected. He's just like an amazing person. He was the art director at the time at the theater, and he's just got a bunch of amazing things that I so happened to be interested in. So it was just like, after meeting him, like, so many doors and opportunities have opened since then. But yeah, that's a story about me going to an art show, thinking I'm going to an art show, and
ended up winning the whole shebang. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Now, who was your favorite singers?
Oh, that is such a hard.
I know you had mentioned one was Nora Jones.
Question.
Nora Jones was one of the ones you mentioned.
Oh yes, I love Nora Jones. Yes, I do love Nora Jones. Corinne Bailey Rae, I mentioned her already. Mm-hmm. Let's see. It depends. I'm trying to like squash together all the genres, because I love a lot of things. Let's see. There's obviously Whitney Houston. I like all the, like Whitney Houston, Shaka Khan, Diana Ross. These are women that I just go to on a regular and just kind of watch them. I'm just like, oh, I love you guys, like I'm moved. I cry when I, hear them sing. Let me think. Let me really think about this. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn the ringer off.
No problem. No problem.
Okie dokie. Let me see. I really want to see if I can. Oh, it's good now. Let me see. Wow. Oh man. Oh my gosh, there's Anita Wilson. These are like gospel singers. I'm going Yolanda Adams, CeCe Winans. Man, who else? Rochelle Farrell. Oh, what's her name? There's so many. Those are, yeah, those, I think those are a good, like, good few that I could mention. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to stress
Now,
myself out.
anyone in your family, anyone in your family sings? Like any of your
Yeah.
siblings or?
Yeah, actually, most of all of my siblings sing. Yeah, we were, yeah, funny story. When we were growing up, our mom she kind of did the whole Jackson 5 thing, and we had to, we always had to sing together, which was so annoying. We really didn't like it, actually. But now, it's kind of a way that we connect. So I have two brothers that are really into music, really talented. One is, like trying to produce right now and create his own label. The other one is a singer and songwriter. They're both songwriters. One plays guitar. Yeah, like, so we're all pretty musical. My mom even sings a little bit. And I never met her, but apparently my grandmother, her name's Barbara Martin. She was an incredible singer, I hear. I, didn't have the chance to meet her because she passed away pretty early. But yeah, around here, like in Norwalk area and Virginia, yeah, everybody's always says that she was an amazing singer. But I have tons of cousins and we're all singing and doing something in some way. Definitely a very musical family.
I think it was, I don't know if it was Easter time or something, and you were at a church and you sang. It was so beautiful. It almost brought you to tears. What church were you at that time? I don't know if you were, I saw it
I don't know if I
on,
remember.
it was recently. You were singing with the choir. They had you singing the lead, but I don't remember the song, but it was, oh my God, it was so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Was I at City Hall, or was I like in a long dress, or what was I wearing?
I don't remember. All I remember was that voice.
No,
girl.
okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I know that you do you still do a praise night on Wednesday nights? One night I watched and it was amazing.
Thank you. Was you can go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say you're still doing that, right? Because I wanted to like tune in and I couldn't find it the last time.
Oh, actually, I have not done it since then, but I do have in mind to do another one. I kind of am, I've kind of just been focusing on some other things right now, but yes, I definitely want to do another one of those for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people tuned into that.
Yeah,
right,
that
okay.
was nice.
I understand that you have a special place in your heart for children, and and you're an advocate for children. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Let's see. Children, working with children, advocating for children. I think it was in my life very, very early. My mom at one point had a daycare of her own. And as a teenager, I did a lot of work in the summer with kids. But I think for me personally, from just like who I am and what I'm realizing about myself, there is a deep desire to, I've actually been like meditating and working through that now, because I'm trying to understand in what way I'm supposed to give and be of service to children. But I do very much feel a deep need to protect children, to provide safety for children, to build self-esteem in children, to teach them about emotional support and connection and and expressing their feelings and communicating who they are. I think as a child, I really was frustrated in a lot of areas. And trying to find who I was and trying to understand and access my feelings and trying to, just self-actualize. And
Mm-hmm.
it came to me as I began to research, and in my studies, I began to understand the role of the guardians in children's lives and how important it is. And I guess at one point I kind of was grieving the fact that I didn't receive these things that I had no idea that I was supposed to be receiving, that were to help build a solid foundation of who I am, in
Mm-hmm.
my life. I've had to do a lot of work on my own to build that. So I grieved that. And I was kind of, went through that whole process myself. And now I'm trying to turn myself into a new direction and really be just more purposeful and deliberate about, not that I haven't, but I guess I have been. But I think now I understand, what is going on in my heart and mind when it comes to children. I do really feel like a part of my purpose is to plant good seeds, in them, to expose them to the potential and opportunities that are for them, of who they could be, and I think that always starts with how you make them feel and the things
Mm-hmm.
that you share with them and you say to them, and being consistent with them and being open with them when you're wrong, all of these things. I'm very passionate about it. Like, I feel it as I speak about it, because
Mm-hmm.
I know that it can help in, really in building a great foundation for a child to then move on to a young adult and to adult and do amazing things in their life, So I'm very
Yeah.
passionate about that. And I'm actually, like I was saying before, like using this time of quarantine to really sit down and kind of just brainstorm other ways that I can do that. Right now, before the quarantine, I was working in the public schools as a substitute teacher. I've been working in daycares for a while, working with the kids like one on one, assisting the
Mm-hmm.
teachers. But just kind of being a sense of support, and picking up where I see there's lack, I guess, because that's very important to me, to really
Mm-hmm.
notice when a child is really needing more attention and give that to them. So that's what I've been doing, for these past a couple of years actually, is working with children in that sense. And I started working with them on a more fitness level basis. Like, I started, doing workouts with them and, just
Mm-hmm.
having fun with them, but teaching them how to value themselves, in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But this will probably be the last thing, because I can talk about this for a really long time.
Oh,
But
that's all.
but I also, just to get a little bit more personal, I was really, I had a lot of different difficulties when I was in school, behavioral difficulties, learning, difficulties. And one thing that really changed my life was having a mentor. And I still have this
Mm-hmm.
mentor till this day. I love her to death. And instead of doing the other things, putting me on medication, or, kind of just dismissing me, my
Mm-hmm.
school, I went to Columbus Magnet School, in Norwalk, Connecticut. And they decided to give me more attention. They decided to put someone in my life who could give me positive, nourishing attention. And I completely changed my life by
Mm-hmm.
having this presence and this role model in my life. And so I guess, that experience also just stuck with me, And I, I kind of just want to give that back, to every kid I see. I'm just like, oh, I'm always, ready to give that sense of support and to be that positive light in their lives, because they deserve it, one, and because I understand how important it is and what it does to a person,
Mm-hmm.
as they begin to move on through their lives. So yeah, just bunch of stuff.
I can
Bunch of stuff, but
really,
I love it.
I can feel your passion as you were talking about it. I mean,
Oh,
it just shows all through, almost as much as when you're talking about singing. So I love that. I love it.
Thank
How
you.
many songs have you actually written? Your own, your own stuff.
Wow,
I heard a few.
a lot, a couple. I've been
Yeah.
writing. I have been writing. Writing ones that I'm like, yeah, I don't really love that one. Writing ones that I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I like that one. Like I writing ones that I'm kind of indifferent about. I just kind of write all the time. So I have a few, I don't even know right now, a few songs that I've written this past, like I would say like 3 years. 'Cause I just kind of started getting into songwriting. I just recorded an album, and on that album is eight of the songs that I have written in the past 2 months, 2 or 3 months, yeah. That I feel like represent me as like in my artistry, which is very different from
Mm.
when I'm singing in church and
Right. Right.
ministering. It's very different. But I did just record that. But I do write often. And even if it's not a song, I like to write poetry. I like to write, just kind of write. I just kind of always am writing. It's very
Right.
therapeutic. So
Hmm.
it's a lot. I don't know the count. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's quite all right. Because I was just, before you came on, I just looked up everything I could on you,
Oh
because
gosh.
I just think you now there's another side to you that we haven't talked about, is the
Yeah.
dance. The dance.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and just before I get into the dance, I wanted to let you know that there's a lot of stuff. I just recently I'm rebranding. I got a team, and I mentioned the album, so there's a lot of stuff that I've deleted. I'm taking down to prep myself to put out the new material. So
Hmm.
sorry if it was like really hard trying to find me, but that's what's going on. But as far as the dance is awesome. Okay, so I've always as a child, I have always like when I was like in the car, if I wasn't trying to harmonize with the radio, I was like in my head, just this, song would come on, and I was just imagining every like move I could do. I had this whole choreography in my mind. I would daydream about dancing, and I always wanted to study dance. And I just never, it just never worked out. But I still kind of held on to that, and in my mind, I guess. And I danced in church, which is different, like this like liturgical dance. But
Liturgical, yeah.
yes, but which I enjoyed, which is very it's very powerful. And
Hmm.
I did start to, find myself a little bit in that. I did start choreographing at the time. I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but I did start, taking the lead in that particular area because I loved it so much. And then after that, that was like in my teens. And after that, you know, I we our dance group unfortunately fell apart, so I haven't really done it. I dabbled in it a little bit in college, which was really fun. And I, like did a couple of solo performances for some of our worship services and things like that, which was really great. But as far as like anything further, studying anything further, no, I didn't really have the opportunity. So okay, so let's go back to Billy Blanks, who I met at the competition.
Right. Right.
Billy Blanks, his fitness, okay, so his fitness company is called Dance It Out. It's called Dance It Out. So I'm telling you, this guy, like meeting this guy has been is just amazing, because I just never imagined this coming into my life again. So I had totally left dancing alone. Like I would do it like when I would go out, and I would just love it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm dancing, building my confidence. I'm getting out there, I'm dancing because I love it. And that was about it. It was like I just dance when I'm at a party or something. So I meet Billy. Billy tells me about his company, and I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's nice. We don't talk about it for like a couple of months. You kind of just like breeze over it. And he keeps saying, he's like, I want to train you. I want you to do this. You could do this. You could do this. And long story short, eventually he certifies me, which I was nervous. I don't even know how I got through that process because I was so nervous. Oh my gosh. I felt like I had 2 left feet, but I can dance. That's the crazy thing. I'm nervous and I'm like, oh, it's because I was overthinking. But we, went through a day of certification. I finally was certified. And he was like, okay, we're going to take you to go and audition at Equinox so that you can start, teaching dance fitness there. And I'm like, okay, I'm just like, all right, I don't think I'm ready for this, but okay, and I'm thinking in my mind, is it enough? Like, am I enough? Is my love and my passion for dancing, is that enough on its own? Or do I really need to know like all this skill and like have all this experience? So I was not feeling very competent at the time, but we did. He finally, he had me sit in a couple of his classes. He had me like do a song or two and like, like try it out. And I messed up. Oh God, I forgot the move. Oh gosh. But he was just like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Like, you got to just do it again. He was like, whatever you do, just do it with confidence. And I'm like, okay. So I did. I finally auditioned for Equinox, and I was like 2 minutes in, not even. And they were like, oh, okay, we've seen enough. You're hired. And I'm like, okay. So this means I really have to do this now. Like I really have to show these people that I can host a class and dance and like teach dance steps to the people who are paying all this money. I'm just like freaking out now. But it has honestly been like the best experience of my life. I love what I do. I love it. I love it. I love it. I get up every day and I'm like jumping. I'm like, okay, like I'm excited to share like whatever steps and things that I come up with during the week. And I started building like a really nice little following, and people were coming regularly. And then I ended up getting my, so for a while so the thing with Equinox is you have to sub classes in order to kind of like earn your own class. Mm-hmm. And so I was subbing, but I was like taking everything. Anybody needed a sub, I was like, yep, I come. Because I just wanted to get the practice so I could feel, more comfortable. And so I was doing it and just getting out there. And not even within like a month, I ended up getting my own class. And I was just like, wait, what? This is awesome. So they offered me my own class, and I just started teaching. And honestly, I've just built so much confidence, I think, in myself, but also just confidence in the fact that I'm enough, and yes, my passion, and yes, my vision for dance and like how I want to move and how I see things, it's bigger than just, me. Like these women that I work with are just, they're loving it because they're exploring their bodies in different ways, and they're having a good time. And so I love my job. I actually really miss it. I'm really missing it, due to
right.
Quarantine and everything. I'm really missing it. But that is where I'm at with dance in my life, and I'm just building upon that and working with other gyms. I actually, hopefully it is able to happen. But in June, I was asked to do a session with these teenage girls who go to this program called Live Girl. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's my first time hearing of it, but it's an empowerment group that works. It's these women that work with younger women in all different areas of their lives to empower these youth and to see them move forward. And so someone, like the leader reached out to me and was like, hey, I want to know if you can come and do like a session with the girls and dance with them and kind of talk with them. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I would love to do that. So it's definitely opening up in other areas. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I don't even know. I keep saying that, but I'm just, just so excited.
But I'm telling you, people
know?
people that may have never seen you before, you're just sitting there in that chair. But girl, you are built. I mean, oh my God! When I saw you do those, when I saw you dance, I was like, oh my God! Let's do a session. Let's do a session when you just dance. Oh, I was very, very impressed, and I was like, man, too bad she's not around here, and she could instruct some old fat ladies.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow!
No, but
You're so silly. You're so silly.
I was like, I was inspired, amazed. I said, not only can she sing, oh my God, look at the dance, look at the body, oh my goodness. How long did it take you to? Were you always in shape like that?
Yeah, I mean,
like you are now.
Yeah, so in high school, pretty much, I've always been kind of like lean, but in high school, I did a lot of sports. When I was younger, like throughout like from 3 to like 3 years old to around like, I don't know, like 12, I was a gymnast actually. I loved it. And then I stopped because I was muscular and I was like you're in middle school and you're feeling all insecure. That was definitely me. I was not happy with like my whole situation of being like this muscular young woman. And I just did not understand that. So I wanted to try different things, but I still stayed active. I did like track and volleyball. I swam. I love doing like being active with my body, but it hasn't, I just started this past year. I just started to get back into training and being intentional, like about my my schedule and like working out. And I do have a trainer now. And then also my job does help with being able to stay more intentionally healthy. So what you're seeing is a product of it's there, but it's also like a product of me, like, okay, being like, I gotta like do this for myself. Like, I don't want to just glide on through life. Nope. I want to do this for myself. I want to have a regimen. I want to have a routine. And if, a trainer and all that, and really go for it. I really love fitness. I actually really am passionate about it. I didn't realize I was so passionate about it. So it's fun. Right. It's a lot of fun. And hey, I don't mind coming over there whenever this, thing kicks up, or moves out of, our way. I don't mind coming over there to do a couple of like classes and stuff. That would be really fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh my God. Yeah. My God.
Put that out there.
I got to say, I have really, really enjoyed hearing you talk. Oh my God. To see another side of you. I mean, like I said, I saw you on the stage and I read about you, and then I saw you at the women's retreat, which I really, really loved. And just to hear a whole nother side, it's just been, and I'm just so appreciative of you taking the time out. I know we all kind of stuck in the house and but I just really, really am just love you being on here, and I just still can't believe that you're shy, but I just love it, and I know your guitar is not ready because you need new strings on it. But if you could just well, before we go off, I just wanted to know where does your faith fit into all of this?
Where does my faith fit into all of this? That's a good question. That's a big question. Well, when I was younger, I was kind of taught, you're supposed to go to church and you're supposed to be a Christian and you're supposed to do certain things. And that's kind of that. And that's, had been my understanding of my faith and my spirituality. And for a good amount of time, it was just kind of like, this is what you do. This is our routine. This is our tradition, whatever culture, whatever you want to call it. But now I think what I'm understanding is that there is a connection between actualizing all of yourself, achieving your dreams, like being all of who you are. There's a connection between that and having, I guess, like a relationship or understanding of God, or walking by faith, if that makes any sense. Because that's also something that I've been kind of thinking about while in quarantine as well. It's as I take, do the necessary things and take these, leaps of faith and push myself to achieve my goals and to see greater for myself and to be all of who I am and to not be fearful and to not be shy and to not think that I can't do it. All of those things, like breaking away from all of the things that keep me from being me, I think is what God, is what God would want for me, I guess, in a sense, is my service, is my way to show that I love God and that this is my life and this is my being, because what God, I'm still, I guess, like wrestling with all of this and trying to find the right wording of how to really explain it. But I think that God is definitely within all of us, and we in our own way can express who God is. And in order to express all of who God is, we also, when we express all of who God is, we express all of who we are, because we're reflections of how beautiful God is. And some people, like say God is an energy, God is love, God is Jesus, there's all these different understandings of who God is. But I think at the end of the day, there's universally, we all do have the DNA, the spiritual DNA of God. And we have to learn how to figure out what's in our lives that's keeping us from giving love and from giving all of who we are and from being a light in this world. And that's a process, that's definitely a process of letting go and accepting. But I think that, with my faith, one, I love to use my music. I love to still sing like, worship songs and gospel songs and things like that. I still love to do that. And because I guess that's like service for me. That's like ministry for me, because I do understand that it does bless, people, and, it touches their soul, but it also uplifts their spirit in times where they're not able to, like really feel that or get that for themselves, if that makes sense. So I do know that it's very uplifting, and I do know that it's very helpful, and I like to do that, and I like to keep that in my life as a means of ministering to people and their emotions and their mental, like mental health, I guess you could say. But also, like, I guess I want to, I think my job is to really find out who I am and to be all of that, to really be a light, to really do that, to really access all of who I am and to give of myself. And I think that is really, if I'm doing that and if I'm working towards that and if I'm on a journey towards that, I feel like I am in relation to, God, in a sense. Like, that's my spiritual work in a sense, learning how to access all of the love or in whatever way it comes out of me to be able to give and be of service to other people, and I guess that is how my faith ties into all of this, to really not to just be a good person, but really really be a mindful being, really be a conscious being, really be aware of, really be aware of my impact, really be aware of my heart and my intentions when I'm dealing with people. really be aware of, just how to, my relationship with myself is also very much in, in I guess involves my faith, my relationship my relationship to me and my, myself, and how I talk to myself and how I see myself, how I value myself, how I take care of myself. All of that is my faith. All of that is definitely like my spirituality, how I how I treat myself, and in turn, how I treat other people. With all of that to say, with all of those words,
it's not easy to put into words sometimes. I know.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Yes. I write a lot too, and sometimes I'll hear a song this particular song I heard in my sleep, and I could hear the melody, I could hear the words and all that, and I got up and I said, "Oh, I'll remember it tomorrow." And I said, "No, maybe no, I won't take that chance." So I sang it I sang it into a tape, and the words was simply it was called "God Knows My Heart," and it says, "I can talk to Him without saying a word. I can moan to Him without it ever being heard by anybody else. I can moan to Him, but He still understands me because God knows my heart. He knows my heart. He knows my every thought. He knows me so well. Still, He gave His Son on the cross. I know I'm not worthy. I'm surely not perfect, but He still loved me. He knew I would struggle with sin, but He loved me just the same." And then that second verse, which I tell a lot of people, I know that I live a life of sin. I said, I got to get it right before I come to Him. But He said, "Child, just come as you are, because man looks at the outward, but I see your heart." And that song, I heard the words, I heard the melody. I got up and played it the next morning. And my daughter said, "Ma, I like that. I like that song." And I told her, I said, "Would you believe I heard that song actually in my sleep?" And in some songs I'll struggle with, I'll get a little bit of melody and the words together. But this song, I heard the song. And so I tell people that all the time, don't try to, it's like you were saying, it's what you feel, as long as God knows your heart and you're being all that you can be, then you don't worry about anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I love it.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
With all that said, I want to hear you sing "Bless Me with a Song."
Oh,
wait a minute. I thought I was going to ask a couple of questions, and then I was going to have you sing about I don't know how many songs, but I guess I have to wait for the next time. And but I would love to hear you sing a song, because you are so. The song I'll say for you is that you are so beautiful to me, and I love you. And the like I said, the day I saw you up at the women's conference or whatever that they had, and you sang that song to the ladies, it just, I saw tears. It was just beautiful. So I just want to thank you, and I want to go off with you singing a song to us.
Okay. Thank you so much for all your kind words. I really do appreciate them. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So right before we were on this call, I was playing a little bit of this worship song that I really like, and I really was, felt that. So I guess I'll just sing that. And I think it's called Waymaker, and I don't know all the words, so
that's all right.
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, turning I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you, 'cause you are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. I wish you had to sing about 5 songs. Oh, oh my goodness. Thank you again, sweetheart, for being my guest. Like I said, I wish I'd have heard a whole lot of other songs, but I have to respect that that's all you felt like singing tonight. But I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time and coming to be with me tonight. And any last words you have to say?
Just thank you. I appreciated this experience as well. It has definitely filled me. And I love talking to you. It was really, really nice to talk to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You as well. And hello and goodbye. Thank you for watching Diversity in the Community. I really appreciate you guys joining in, and I'll see you next time. Have a great night.